The Segway was once enthusiastically hailed as a device that would transform the future of cities. Yet, in just 20 years, it quietly vanished from the market. Hundreds of millions of dollars were invested in its development, and the world watched its debut with bated breath. But then, behind this failure lay structural causes that are still repeated today. Why did a groundbreaking technology fail to be embraced by the public? In this video, we'll explain why success became the seed of failure, who overlooked what, and what lessons we can learn for today. Let's delve into the full story of the Segway's collapse, a device that once carried the dreams of urban transformation. The main feature will also detail the irony of fate surrounding its founder. On December 3, 2001, the world held its breath for a single announcement. Inventor Dean Kamen unveiled a revolutionary personal mobility device. Its name was Segway. Utilizing self-balancing technology, it moved solely by the rider's shift in gravity, truly a vehicle of the future. Kamen declared that this invention would reconfigure cities, predicting it would become the savior of modern urban centers plagued by traffic congestion and exhaust fumes. Apple's Steve Jobs lauded it as a revolution on par with the internet, and Amazon's Jeff Bezos reportedly considered investing. As media worldwide reported on its potential, and development proceeded under the code name IT, public anticipation only soared. However, its future vision was too grand, and expectations ran ahead, with no one realizing the growing disparity with reality. At this time, the Segway was truly a symbol of technological innovation, believed to redefine 21st century transportation. In its early days, the Segway certainly garnered attention in specific markets due to its innovativeness. Its use was particularly anticipated in specialized fields. In vast factories and warehouses, it was introduced as a tool to dramatically improve the mobility efficiency of workers. It also gained popularity in guided tours at tourist destinations. Easier to use than walking, and simpler to operate than a bicycle, it offered a novel experience. In 2003, the U.S. Postal Service announced trials for delivery operations. Expectations for increased efficiency grew, and it steadily built a track record. Its technological superiority was also evident. The self-balancing system was revolutionary, requiring no skilled operation, allowing anyone to control it intuitively. At this stage, the Segway was establishing itself as a high-performance mobility device specialized for specific uses. Media continued to report favorably, and the Segway maintained a certain presence as a cool gadget. Up to this point, things were smooth. In fact, it seemed an ideal start. But in its shadow, a massive pitfall was already opening up. The Segway's fate began to unravel when it seriously pursued expansion into the general consumer market. The biggest obstacle was its price. At the time, the price was $5,000 or about 500,000 Japanese yen. As a means of transport, it was far too expensive, a luxury item out of reach for the average person. Next, legal regulations stood in the way. The perception that roadways were dangerous and sidewalks obstructed pedestrians spread, restricting where it could be ridden. Furthermore, there were issues of practicality. Concerns about battery life, vulnerability in rainy weather, and the fundamental inability to climb stairs. Kamen's dream of a transportation method that would change cities ironically became an expensive vehicle that couldn't go anywhere. As the initial grand vision diverged from market reality, management misjudged the product's direction. They fell into the mindset of this technology is so wonderful, why isn't it selling? And continued to turn a blind eye to fundamental problems. And here, a pitfall no one noticed was opening up. The curse of sunk costs due to excessive initial investment. The Segway had consumed enormous funds and time in its development, pushing it into a situation where there was no turning back. Admitting failure would mean nullifying everything that had been invested. This psychology clouded rational judgment. Even when market research results were unfavorable, they steered towards forced market expansion rather than improvement, based on the hopeful speculation of just a little more effort. Meanwhile, cheaper and more accessible competing products, such as electric kick scooters and electric bicycles, appeared in the market one after another. The Segway's competitive edge diminished, and its high price became an increasing hindrance, trapping it in a vicious cycle. The initial accolades became a distant past, and the Segway could not escape its image as a niche luxury item. As a result, it never became widespread in general households, and its immense potential withered without ever fully blossoming. Segway's management continued its meandering path, enduring a difficult journey of being acquired by multiple companies. Then, in 2010, tragedy struck the Segway. Jimmy Heselden, a British multimillionaire and its owner at the time, died in an accident while riding a Segway. A cruel twist of fate. He fell from a cliff on his own property. This incident further intensified doubts about the Segway's safety. Subsequently, the Segway was acquired in 2015 by Ninebot, a Chinese electric mobility company. Ironically, Ninebot had previously manufactured products that imitated the Segway. And on July 15, 2020, Segway finally announced the end of production. This 20-year history quietly came to a close. The innovative vehicle that dreamed of a future for cities without ever permeating everyday life was relegated to the sidelines of history. Many lessons can be drawn from the Segway's failure. First, technological superiority alone cannot conquer the market. A strategy to overcome practical barriers like price, legal regulations, and practicality was essential. Next, the failure of excessive expectation and marketing. Misjudging a product's true value and market fit will lead to failure, no matter how innovative it is. And finally, the sunk cost trap. The larger the initial investment, the harder it becomes to admit failure, leading to deeper entanglement. The Segway's story offers a crucial lesson for today, revealing the deep chasm between a vision of the future and the reality of the market. In this video, we analyzed why success became the seed of failure through the lens of initial excessive expectations and the subsequent disconnect from the market. Regarding who overlooked what, the decisive factors were an excessively high price point, the barrier of legal regulations, and a lack of practicality. And as lessons for today, we highlighted the importance of not just technological superiority, but also market dialogue, flexible strategies, and escaping the sunk cost trap. The Segway's story teaches us about dreams and reality, innovation and the harshness of the market. The quality of decision-making will differ between those who know this failure and those who do not. If you found this video informative, please subscribe and like it. We introduce a new history of failure every day.
この失敗は歴史のほんの1ページ。世界にはまだ語られていない失敗が数多くあります。失敗の歴史をチャンネル登録して次の物語もぜひご覧ください。